your opinions, talking big like somebody's listening. Nobody's listening. It's so fun and games until it doesn't. Toss me out, I'll hit the ignition. Now you listen. Hop up in the window. Smaller and smaller you fade out. Hop up in the window. Yeah. You cannot kill my vibe, no there's no way. I'm flying high above all your gravity, trying to bring me down, but I'll never stay. Hey, hey, watch me levitate. You cannot kill my vibe, no there's no way. You can say what you want, call me insane, trying to bring me down, but I'll never stay. Hey, hey, watch me levitate.
What's good, folks? It's WARFRAME here with a new Warframe video, coming at you with a Titania build guide. I have 4 different builds for you. One for your just usual Titania gameplay, one for Eidolon hunts, the other most commonly known build out there is Sunder Titania, and a peculiar and yet fun one. Alright, let's get started. Each build will have its own HELMINTH ability. We'll start off with the first one. First one here, I decided to go with Condemn. Titania suffers from one thing, and that's being single target with her Dex Pixias. When she's in her Razoring mode, Dex Pixias are just not that great, so we'll find a way to make them work. With Condemn, we give her a great survivability because we get to refresh our own shield gate. And on top of that, it crowd controls enemies, leaving them open for headshots. And another thing we're going to be combining that with is Dust and Entangle. Entangle will reduce enemies' movement speed by 25%, and Dust will reduce their accuracy by 50%, which is actually quite huge. Basically, you're getting hit less and you're crowd controlling enemies. Let's not forget Spellbind is a great crowd control tool, but not only that, it also makes you status immune. Basically, a free Prime Sure-Footed. In her Razoring mode, she gets the use of her Dex Pixia and Diwata. Diwata is not that great for killing, but we'll be using this weapon just to kill acolytes. And of course, her Dex Pixia, the dual pistol, is going to be for ad clear. Alright, I'm going to be showing you how the first build works, but before we start, there's a nice little tip for you. The options, scroll all the way down to invert, tap, hold abilities. If you've seen my Protea and Zaku video, I do showcase this. What you could do is scroll all the way down to Titania and select inverted if you want. What this does is change how her quick tap and hold abilities work, and that's to do with her second ability. If I quick tap the ability, that's when it will activate the ability. Holding it down will toggle between the other 4 buffs and debuffs. All right, here we are, Razoring mode, and since we're going to be using the augments, we're gonna get the buffs. It stacks up to the maximum amount of power strength you have on your build. For me, it's just 144%, but that's quite a lot of fire rate. We don't want to overcap in fire rate because Titania does not have the best magazine in the game. All right, see, with Condemn, we can lock them down and just get rid of them one by one. There you go. Pretty simple. So if we tap the ability and pick up the buff, we have the enemies become less accurate. Switch between the ability, quick tap, pick up the buff, hold, quick tap, pick up the buff. There you go. Enemies are slower and they're less accurate. Look at that guy. That guy can't even hit me and I'm standing still. Oh, there you go. Hey you, I see you're not following the Twitch. Be sure to hit that follow and catch me live every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, 12 p.m. CET. See you there. All right, let's have a look at the build real quick. In the aura, I have combat discipline. You know what that means? Kill enemies, deal damage to your health. Okay, now why would I want to do this? Very simple. Just to trigger Arcane Avenger. Basically, a 45% increase on all of my weapons. Prime Sure-Footed, yes, you do get staggered midair, so this is very useful because spending less time on your butt wings is a huge DPS increase. Power strength at 144% with Umbral Intensify. Range is at base range because, for one, Condemn has 20 meters of base range, which is damn good. So now the second ability's effect radius is capped at 35 meters. The only thing that changes when you equip range onto the second ability is the cast range. Basically, this means how close you have to be to the target to cast the ability onto them. So if you put range here, you can see the effect radius hasn't changed, but the cast range does increase. Prime flow for large energy pool, and the 2 efficiency mods at rank 4 for the capped out efficiency. This is going to reduce the drain on all of our abilities. Now we do not want to go under 100% duration because that will affect our drain per second. Here's at 1.25 drain. So that's why we counteract the negative duration with prime continuity. Razor Wing Blitz, casting abilities while in Razor Wing will increase my flight speed, fire rate, and attack speed. Rolling guard for the 3 seconds of invulnerability and to cleanse us of status effects. Yes, we do have Spellbind, but this is also useful, especially when our shields break or if we're trying to get away from an enemy. Let's say like Violence, where you can't cast abilities, can't go into Operator. So this is also very useful. And the Dex Pixia build that I'll be using is your traditional Viral and Slash. Now here I do have Hornet Strike and Galvanized Shot. This is going to increase my status chance and increase my damage with each unique status effect on a target. This is going to be our upfront damage, and yes, our damage will scale from power, strength, and mods equipped on our weapon. And you may have noticed I don't have any crit chance. Well, that's because all my crit chance is coming from Arcane Avenger, so that's why I have Prime Target Cracker. And the faction mod is going to multiply our modded base damage and affect its damage over time, which is going to be Bleeds with Carnus Stinger. This gives me slash damage and status chance. This slash damage does not affect my DOTs, but it affects my slash weighting, pretty much increasing the probability of my slash proccing with 90% status chance. Now, if you do want to play it differently, instead of going Viral Slash, I do have Viral and Heat, where I just swapped the mods around and went with a primed heated charge instead of a slash mod. There you go. Pretty much the same build, but we're going to be focusing more on Heat DOTs. If you want to see how this works, pretty much the same. So what I'm doing right now is casting my 1 to stack up my Razor Wing Blitz. There you go. That's the Viral and Heat build. Now, if you want a little bit of AoE with Dex Pixia, I went with Viral Electricity. Now, you may have noticed the mods here are unranked. Well, it's because of the proc bias. We don't have a primed electric mod, so the weighting is going to be quite, not the greatest. So that's why I went with unranked mods. What you could do, if you don't want a crit build, you can drop Target Cracker and put a 60-60 electric mod, like Jolt. That's up to you, but of course having some crit damage in there is going to increase our damage even more. But it's also down to how you play. Gundition Overload, yes, we do have to build up stacks for our Gundition Overload before we can actually start killing. As you can see right now, damage is there, quite significant, and we're crowd controlling enemies with the electric procs. Our shields broke and we just cast Condemn. Now, mind you, the 3 DOT builds I just showed you with Viral Slash, Heat, and Electric, they're more for Steel Path content. But if you want to do regular content and pretty much anything that requires less brain cells, you could go with the Corrosive route. This is more upfront flat damage, which is going to be really great against Ferret armored units, or pretty much anything in just the regular star chart, because DOTs like Heat and Slash need an entire second before they can start dealing damage. But with Corrosive, it's just upfront damage. There you go, see? And these are level 185. That's just raw corrosive damage right there. Now in Steel Path, this is going to be nice for, you know, base Steel Path, meaning just like the first 5 minutes and a bit extra, but you'll see how it starts to gradually fall off. Now for the Diwata build, I'm not using Condition Overload because I'm not using this to kill mobs, but rather acolytes. So we went with raw damage, crit chance, crit damage, electricity, some range, and Shattering Impact. Shattering Impact will work if you have impact damage. Doesn't matter how much, you you just need to have impact damage. The proc does not matter. If you haven't watched my damage guide on how damage works, do go check that out. But your impact is calculated in the total base damage that you're going to be dealing. All right, there's a reason I'm using Vertiline. To be honest, you can do this with any whip. Just has to be a whip, and that's because of the Nera set mods. The set effect gives you increased damage from slams, but this also counts as melee damage. Yes, melee base damage, which affects all your melees, pseudo exalted weapons included. I'm not sure if they're going to change this in the future, or if this is intended, or it's in the wording. Who knows? So that's a free 100% increase in damage on your Diwata. And of course, the 3 gladiator mods, they're just here for the gladiator set bonus. So if you do build up combo on your Diwata, you do get a 3.75 times damage multiplier. And on top of that, you're building up the crit chancing. So you're going to see some orange crits with Diwata. As you see here, we're building up combo, and our gladiator set mod is also building up. And I don't even have condition overload on this build. There you go. And of course, I'm grouping them up with Magus Anomaly and then using Condemn on them. And we're hitting the heads. So that's a free damage multiplier right there. Of course, if I had condition overload and a primer, I'll be doing a lot more damage. But again, this is just for killing the acolytes. Now, taking a look at the Eidolon DPS build. Now, for those who are really experienced in the hunts, you know what to do. Now, the reason why I'm still using hit scan weapons is because of water shields. Water shields can be quite annoying, and that's because if you don't have your damage built up, you're not going to be taking them down really quickly. Or so you can run Rubico or any hit scan secondary. Now, for the build itself, I decided to run with Eclipse to multiply my total damage. Yes, Eclipse also works at nighttime because of the moonlight. If you have not seen my Volt build and Eidolon hunting guide, do go check that out. Pistol lamp in the aura. Yes, this is a very low increase, but it's going to count, especially if you're going to multiply it with Eclipse. Velocity and precision. That's fire rate and more damage. All you have to do is hit the head and boom, you get 300% more damage. Razorwing Blitz as well, increasing my fire rate even further, because the faster you hit something, the faster it's going to go down. Power strength the 278% with the 2 Umbral Mods, Blind Rage, and Augur Secrets. Having power strength is also gonna increase the damage that my pistols are going to be doing. Natural talent just to cast things faster, and Augur Message just for a little bit of duration. Now, even if you add efficiency or not, the drain per second will not change. Here we have 6.25. Watch this. Streamline 6.25. All it's going to change is the initial cast. Here's 38. And here it's 31, but the drain per second is still going to remain the same. And the Dex Pixia build, very straightforward. Damage, crit chance, crit damage, more damage, barrel diffusion, and lethal torrent. We did not use galvanized diffusion in Eidolon hunts because dropping the Synovias does not count as a kill. Even if it did, there's just so much downtime to stack up galvanized diffusion. So we run with regular diffusion and lethal torrent. Lethal torrent for even more fire rates. Prime heated charge, heat, and convulsion for electric to form radiation. That's 5.7k radiation damage, which is quite a lot. And here is the Thermal Sunder Titania. What I did is pretty much put Gauss's third ability onto Titania. It does heat and cold AoE damage, and heat being the strongest one out of the two. So we'll be using the heat form a lot more, which is the hold cast. Now, this build is definitely not for Steel Path. It's for Fisher missions. Quick in and out missions. That's all you use this build for. Taking a look at the build, Growing Power and Umbral Intensify. These are going to be the 2 power strength mods. Inflict a status effect on a target, and that's free 25% power strength. And here I have Preparation. This is going to allow me to start any mission or even when I res from death with full energy. Pair that up with Prime Flow, good stuff. A rank 4 Fleeting Expertise, going to give us some efficiency. And to counteract the negative duration, I have Prime Continuity. Range at 175%, which is going to give my Thermal Sunder 21 meters, which is more than enough because you're going to be moving and casting this ability. You're not going to be standing still. All right, here we are with the haha funny build. As you can see, yes, I do have a Resonator equipped on her 4th ability. So this is a non-Razor Wing build. It's just pure crowd control. Go in, cast Resonator, and her 3rd ability. And we can just chill, literally. It's a full-on crowd control build. Enemies are attracted to your lantern, and enemies are also distracted by the Resonator. And when they get in range, well, all you have to do is kill them. And when I say range, that's a huge coverage. So this build is here just to chill and have fun with your weapons. Funny enough, this build has better TTK and KPS than a Razor Wing build. Why? Because you're actually using AoE weapons. Let's take a look at the build. Refresh Spite in the aura for the energy to shield conversion. Range at 265 with overextended stretch and auger reach, because power strength does not matter. Duration at 183% with prime continuity and constitution. Natural talent to cast things faster, and prime flow for the energy. So you're not going to be using much energy, so efficiency doesn't matter, but having a large energy pool is beneficial, because let's say you want to cast things or cast your first ability, since not many people would have prime sure-footed. Second arcane doesn't matter because it's down to you. You want to go with guns or you want to go with melee. And this is pretty much it. This build is just stupid fun in Steel Path. Okay. Here we are in Steel Path, fooling around with this build. We can have 2 of our lanterns cast right there. We got one guy right there and another guy right there. And Resonator just moving back and forth. And we can just chill and kill enemies. For those who don't have prime sure-footed, can of course cast your first ability, so you don't get staggered or knocked back with Kuba Brahma or any AoE weapon that has knockback. There you go. You can see the blue dots on the map. And those are your allies. Those are the 2 people that have been affected by Lantern. Let's cast a new one. Look at that. You can just chill. And enemies are not even going to hit you. Look at that. Their AI is broken. So if you want to really cheese Steel Path and literally just, I don't know, do stupid things to enemies, have a look at how they really look like up close, then yeah, this is the build for you. Don't forget to recast your Resonator. And that has been it for me. If you've enjoyed and learned something from this video, do feel free to hit a like, share, and subscribe for more Warframe content, streams, and so much more. Do refer to the description. Thanks for watching, and as always, peace.